Hello, everybody. Welcome to another interview. 3 questions for Law of Attraction women experts who have manifested the relationship that they deserve. And I am so excited to introduce you to my guest today. She is my soul sister, my best friend. We go way back. I love you dearly, Deb Frischmon.
Hello.
Thank you for being here, Deb. I love you. And would you tell me in 3 minutes or less how you met this love of your life and how long you've been together for?
I love it. 3 minutes or less. Okay. So, interesting enough, we have an anniversary coming up and 28 years. So yeah, we've been together and then we dated for 3 years. So
Okay.
I've been with him for like 31 years.
I didn't realize it was that long. Wow.
I know. So we were like babies when we, got married. I was 21 and Tim was 22.
Oh, right, of course.
So,
well, congratulations.
Well, thank you. And we met at college, and I think I've told you this story, but I'll tell your people.
Yes.
So it was my freshman year, first night of college, and I was dating somebody, and I went to the bar, of course, and it's a Friday night, and Tim was the bouncer at that bar, and he had an instant attraction with me, and he let me and all my girlfriends go in for free, and then he bought us drinks all night, and he told my brother-in-law, who was at the bar that night, they're both football player friends, and he just said, I'm gonna marry that girl. And my brother-in-law's like, that's my sister-in-law, and she's taken. But anyway, so that was our story, and yeah, lots of roses after that, and probably a whole year of persuading. So yeah, it was really sweet.
So you didn't give up, that's for sure.
No, he didn't give up.
And thank goodness for that.
No.
All right, so question number 1. What advice would you have given yourself a year before you met him to just get yourself ready? So I guess you would have been 20.
I know. So when you asked that question, I have to say, that's probably the hardest question to answer because I was 20. But I'm looking at that question from who I am today and what advice I would give my younger self. And that's the way I approached it. So I would say definitely, I would tell my younger self to relax. And I always had to have a boyfriend, and I never really was without. And in fact, I wasn't. I've never been without a boyfriend. And so I would say, focus on yourself and love yourself and honor yourself. And that's the advice I would have given myself back then, because I was always feeling like I needed somebody else to complete me. And I know now that's not true. And it took me years to figure that out. And so I would tell my younger self, just have fun and work on loving yourself and lifting up your vibration, doing things you love, taking care of you, because the higher your vibration, the higher, you're going to attract a higher guy into your life. And luckily I was at a very high vibration because of course Tim's amazing. So, yeah, so that worked out. But
you did something right.
Yeah, but I would just say, I would have focused on me more, and that would have been the priority.
Very wise words from older Deb.
Yes, older Deb knows a lot.
All right, lovely. So number 2, why does it work this time? Even though you met him when you were really young, but I know you had a couple of boyfriends beforehand. So why did it work this time with him and it didn't before?
Well, that's a good question. And first of all, I'd say the reason it worked is he's the right one. And I would say he's my soulmate, but also with that said, I don't really believe you only have one soulmate. So I don't believe he's the only one. There's many out there that could have been the one, but he is the one for me. And so it worked. And I would say I had some top priorities in finding a guy who I'd spend the rest of my life with. I'm a true, I love romance, and he's very romantic, like the flowers every day for a year. I mean, really, and really,
aww, every day?
Every day. And I love romance, so I knew he fit that. And I love to have fun, and so I knew I needed someone kind of wild and crazy, yet I also am very serious. And so like he just fit all of that, and like we love to go on adventures together, and I don't know, and we both love learning, and so I feel like it worked because he was just the right person for me. And I'm very sensitive, and I needed someone to understand that. And like, there's just a lot of things that came together for us, but he just was the right one.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, brilliant. Number 3,
Yeah.
What's the biggest secret to keeping this relationship a fulfilling one?
Yeah, there's lots of secrets for this.
Oh!
Well, there's lots of secrets.
We won't tell anyone. It's a secret.
Yeah,
We won't tell anyone.
Yeah. But I would say here's the thing, like any relationship you want to develop is going to be work. I mean, it's work to have a good relationship. And I think people need to understand that. And being married for 28 years, it's not been the easiest thing to do, yet if you work at it, it's going to be great. And I would say for us, the top thing for sure is communication. And if I was with someone who wasn't communicating, it wouldn't work. And because I'm a really big communicator, like I just put it out there how I'm feeling, and Tim had to learn right away, like, yeah, he had to learn right away, like that's gonna, he needed to do that as well. And we're big into like, what do you need? What are your needs? And stating them. And then even as a family, like your kid, like what are your kids' needs? And we could sit around the dinner table and go around like, I need this in order to be happy. I need this. And then it's just so much more helpful. Tim would probably have said years ago, he needed more intimacy, and as we're raising our boys and we're busy, and, when I ask him, what do you need? And he's like, I need more intimate moments. I'm like, okay, let's make that happen, And I would say, I need more health in our life. Like we've been eating out too much, or we're not working out. And so health is really important to me, wellness. And so I would express to him, like, I need it for us to be healthier as a family. I need us to start doing outdoor activities or whatever it was. So, and then he would honor that. So I think that the communication is huge. I'm laughing at myself because I found this piece of paper that I wrote 20 years ago. And it was at a time where I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I want more in this. Something's just really flat in this relationship. Again, we're raising kids. I mean, it's just when you're in the middle of kids, it's not the same as dating.
Right.
And so, and I was teaching full time, and I was just really tired all the time. And I just was like, but there's more. And so I wrote this paper up for both of us, and he went in one room to fill it out, and he was so sweet. And I went in the other room, and then we discussed it. And it was around the new year, and I just said, what did you feel good about last year? What would you like to add next year? What do you love to do? What are you not doing that you love to do? What are your goals for the future? What's your bucket list? So we could, because if we don't know what each other wants, how are we going to get there together? If you had the perfect life, describe it? And then the last question was, what do you think? I wrote on mine, what do you think Tim would like you to change? And I knew what it was. It was going to be more intimacy. And then he wrote that. I wrote it, and then we talked about it. And then from there after, it's been great. It turns out Deb needed more intimacy too.
Aww, that's perfect. Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing those questions. You wrote that yourself? Yeah.
And it's just a really good a communicating tool. And now we do it every year. So it's just like we assess our, like how's it going, and what do we need, and what do we want, and we both have vision boards. And one of the coolest things that we did is we decided to do a book club together, and just to get to know each other more and go deeper and learn together and grow together. and we did some Eckhart Tolle books, The New Earth, Awaken Your Life Purpose, I think it's called. And we'd read a chapter, and then on Sunday morning we'd get our coffee and sit in the living room and get all cozy and discuss. And we learned so much about each other just talking about these books. We did Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and I found out why he drops his clothes right in front of the hamper, and it took like 10 years, and I'm like, and then in the book, that's an example, and I'm like, he's like, see, it's right here, you know. So it was really fun. And then we did the 5 love language. That book is lovely, and we found out we're very different.
Yeah.
And then we could honor each other then, and make it work. So
there you go.
Yeah,
the secrets coming from the expert's mouth right here.
I know, lots of secrets. And I would say my latest one has been with all the teachings of Mike Dooley and, you know, that we have all learned, is just focus on the good, and like even the Wayne Dyer, like what you think is what you're going to get. So if I was looking at Tim in a couple years ago, just like frustrated, going, oh, he's not healthy again or whatever. And I would focus on that, and that's what I would get. And so you're going to get what you're going to see what you think. And so then all of a sudden I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm going to shift this. I am going to focus on all his strengths. And so I'd be like, oh, I didn't even tell him I was going to do this. And I'm like looking at him and I'm like, oh my God, he's got the most beautiful blue eyes. And I was just like focusing on all these great things about him for like a week and really strongly doing this. And then all of a sudden, like, he'd come up behind me, I'm doing this, she's like giving me a massage, and he's like, let me do the dishes for you. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, okay. And it's just like everything started shifting, and I just started seeing him so much differently, and he started being so much differently. Like, and all of a sudden we're, taking walks together and eating healthy, and it just worked. So that's been my latest secret, is just like using what I've been learning in our classes or our readings or whatever, and applying it in my own life and our relationship, and it works.
Appreciating what you already have and the good things in them already.
Yeah. And then
such good advice.
What's that?
Such good advice.
Oh, thank you. And I'd say the last thing for us is, I would say, whether you're dating or whether you're married for 20 years, just time together. Like, I asked him, what's made it work for us? And he just said, I just love being with you. And it's so sweet, because I love being with him too. And in the beginning, like when we were busy with the kids, like we made time every Friday night to have date night. Date night was even if the kids were sleeping, and we made big margaritas or martinis or whatever, and we sat in our living room and talked. We just made time for it. And now it's like, we're heading to Portland, Oregon today for a little getaway weekend, and it's just the two of us. And so we're continuing on making time for ourselves. So I would say that's my last little.
I love it.
But yeah.
I love it. Such great advice. Oh my gosh, wise words from Deb, for sure. Your family, your relationship is such an inspiration to me. When I visited you, it felt like a retreat. I felt so welcomed, and you and Tim are just amazing people. And
thank you.
I love you, and I'm so grateful for you to do this and to share the things that you shared. Such wise words.
Thank you, hon.
So if one of the ladies or any of the ladies would like to contact you, how would they be able to get hold of you?
They could definitely contact me. And if you want to put my email or my website or any of that information below.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I do numerology, and contact me for your numbers. I can help you, because I can help you if you know who you're dating and if it's a good match. And
it's so powerful. Oh my gosh. It's amazing just finding out what your number is, and then finding out if you're a match with your partner. And it's always so accurate. It's scary.
It's so scary. I know.
It's great. So definitely suggest that to anybody who's wondering if they're with the right partner and whether it's meant to be, because just your numbers can tell you. All right.
I love it.
Thank you, Deb. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, honey.